Had an offensive lineman kind of split out wide. And anytime you do that, you're bound to kind of run into some trouble there with the false start penalty. So Junction City gets 15. They give 5 back. And they'll have it here on 1st and 10 after the penalty at the 46-yard line of the Colts. 1:41 to play in the opening quarter. Rivercrest 14, Junction City 6. Pistol formation. Taylor gets the call. Over right guard. He'll make his way back to the original line of scrimmage, a gain of about 5. So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 41.
Motions are starting to get a little high. That's what I was watching real close, Jacob. The officials are talking to them now. You got a couple of guys, a couple of those seniors that they need to settle down. Play your game, get out of the trash talking right now because you need to get some stuff going.
Yeah.
You cannot get mentally ready when you're wanting to talk trash or, get a little extra shove in there. It's not helping you none.
It's almost cost Junction City in a couple of their playoff games. Definitely don't want it to cost them here tonight in Little Rock. Frazier, 3-step drop, plenty of time to throw. Up the right side, incomplete. Was trying to hook up with Davis, but matching him step for step along that far sideline. Hats off to Zori Chipman, senior safety, playing a little corner there. That was nicely done by him. He was matching Davis step for step.
And like you said, a well-done job by him. And the Dragons trying a little something deep. You got to get the Colts defense off that line of scrimmage a little bit. They're bringing up. They got 5 down and 2 linebackers, and they got the safeties coming up.
3rd and 10. Ball is in the air. That's going to be intercepted at the 45-yard line and returned inside Dragon territory. That's Warren Thurman. And so Junction City just looking absolute sloppy here in the first 12 minutes of play. They turn it over with 44 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. Frazier wasn't even really looking for his intended target, floated one up there. And
I put it to you like this. A lot of duck hunters in Arkansas would have loved that one.
Yeah, that's something
he just
you see
put
over
a duck up there
in the Stuttgart area for sure.
Yes. And the second he threw it, you knew it wasn't good, and the coach was reading it immediately. Once again, Dragon defense, you ask them to shut it down, get the ball back, because I think this is the 3rd time the coach has started on our side of the field.
Brown flips to Winda. He's hitting the backfield, stays on his feet, and he's tripped up by Jakyron Cook. And so the Dragon defense, again, another big play on 1st and 10. As the Colts start their drive, they'll put Rivercrest behind the chains here on 2nd down with about 15 to go.
And Jacob, want to at the end of this first quarter, we got a state finals trivia question. Why don't you go ahead and put it out there and let's see if the folks know it. And it's a hard one, but it's a good one.
2nd and 15 for Rivercrest, under 10 seconds. They'll break the huddle, so this will be the final play here in the first quarter. Colts lead it by 8, 2nd and 15 from the far hash. And there's whistles with 1 second to play. So with 1 second to play, Coach Chandler calls a timeout. He wants to talk things over with his offense. So they won't.
And I'll admit, I didn't see the 25-second clock, but I'm like, why? Not sure why he called it. He had to hurry up and call it, but I wouldn't look at it. When you said 5 seconds, I looked at the main clock, and then the whistle, we saw the referee signaling stop play. So it makes you wonder, why didn't he just wait till the end of the quarter?
So if you're Junction City, a couple of the alarms should be going off, kind of seeing what they may be dialing up there on the far side of the field. They'll be faced with a 2nd and 15 coming out of the timeout. Again, just 1 second to play here in the first quarter. Dragons trail Rivercrest by 8. 14-6 is our score. And as much as we'd like to say it's been a battle of who's looked the less sloppy, Rivercrest has actually looked pretty good throughout the most of this first quarter here.
Yes, they have.
Final play of the opening 12 minutes. 2nd and 15. Ball spotted just north of the 45-yard line. Brown in the shotgun. Winda to his right. And false start along the far side. Excuse me, that was Winda who had the false start called on him on the far side of the field.
So you gladly take that penalty and back them up. And Jacob, in the pregame show, in the Kevin Payne Foundation pregame show, we talked about this is not a typical Junction City team in terms of, well, they're calling a penalty on Junction City. Not sure what that was about because we had a coat jump.
So offsides on the defense. It'll bring trying to get the game clock set. And so 1 second to play, be the final play of the first quarter. Pressured, throws, and the pass is incomplete. I believe a couple of Rivercrest players wanted a pass interference. Good coverage there on the edge by Terrell Gibson. And so 12 minutes in the books here in War Memorial Stadium, the Class 3A state championship game. Rivercrest 14, Junction City 6. Timeout on the field. You're watching Junction City football exclusively on the Dragon Sports Network.
And that concludes, like Jacob said, the first quarter. It was not a very memorable first quarter if you're a Dragon fan. Junction City not looking settled on either side of the ball, but despite all that, they're only down 8. You get a defensive stand here and get the ball back, score, make 2, and you're starting the game all over. And Mr. Jacob has a state finals trivia question up for grabs. Whoever can answer. We have a double X, never been worn, let me say it like that, hoodie. So whoever can get it right, you get a Dragon Sports Network hoodie. But before we do that, let me send a special shout out to 2 people that I know they would dearly love to be here tonight. They are cheering their grandson on very hard, I'm sure, and that's Mr. Jerry and Miss Janice Brewer. Both of them been battling health issues. Our thoughts, our prayers are with you. We love you, and we hope that grandson Stephen and these Dragons bring you home some good medicine. A good state title win, I know would do a lot of good, and we're pulling for that, and we're pulling for y'all.
Teams switch sides of the field. 14-6 is our score. We're set to start the second quarter here in War Memorial, Class 3A state championship game. Brown takes the snap, pump fakes to the left, wanting to throw. He'll keep it, and it'll be a minimum gain. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Flags are thrown.
That should be a hold.
That should be a hold. That was coming from the umpire.
While they're doing that, Jacob, go ahead and give us the question. I'm anxious to see who can get it.
Junction City's played in 7 state championship games. A lot of storied history there, but only one player has ever carried the football, recorded a rush, caught a pass, had an interception return, a punt return, and a kickoff return in one game. Only one player has ever done it. Recorded a rush, caught a pass, kick return, punt return, and had an interception return.
Only one guy's ever done it.
One player's ever done it. 7 games, only one guy's ever done it.
Give us a name. And go ahead and tell the folks that I did get it right. It took me a while.
So Junction City, a penalty right out of the gate to start the second quarter. And Rivercrest, they'll run it here on 1st and 10. Jamaica Franks, senior fullback on the carry. He's met by several Dragons. Javasi Gay Cook, Terrell Gibson in on the stop. As Nathan Tucker checks in for Brock McGugan. 2nd down and 9. Ball at the middle of the field at the Junction City 33-yard line. Single receiver to each side of the formation. Brown will work out of the pistol. Kind of a full house backfield look. Handoff goes to no, he'll keep it, and should have given it to him because nowhere to go. They'll be behind the chains here on 3rd down.
I think he was trying to do a delay handoff, draw him in, and he was going to keep it. And like you said, he was actually better off go ahead and give it to him because the Dragons did not fall for the delay. As we're looking at on the replay, they came right after the quarterback.
So Brown dropped for a loss. He'll lose 2. That'll put the Colts behind the chains, 3rd down and 12. Nearing the 10.5-minute mark here in the second quarter. They'll go under center. Deep motion. And they'll give Tawinda back across. He bounces around, still looking for some running room. And so a nice job by Junction City.
And a late flag comes in, Jacob.
And now we've got a flag from the head official. That was after the play, so I have to think it might be a late hit. Several Dragons were clapping.
Well, they've clapped before, and we actually thought the previous penalty ended up being on Junction. We thought it was a hold on Rivercrest. This hurts.
And so personal foul on Junction City, something they've been able to avoid through most part of the season. They've been unable to do so here tonight. And I tell you what, you start losing your cool. That not only does it affect you, but your opponent sees that and they can start taking advantage. And so that'll be an automatic first down for Rivercrest. I believe Coach Jones wanting an explanation. Several Dragons, they were adamant as soon as that flag come out of the pocket of the head official that it was on Rivercrest. But the official call is against Junction. And that'll move the Colts inside the 20, officially spotted down at the 18-yard line.
Coach Smith, I was going to say, the defense coordinator, Brad Smith, was out on the field further than Coach Jones wanting an explanation on that. I think everybody was. But nonetheless, a costly penalty on the Dragons.
30 yards in penalties and nowhere going. That's Franks. Gibson, the first man there. Davis helping him as well. That'll be a minimal gain, maybe a yard. They'll give him forward progression. 2nd down and 9 here with 10 minutes to play in the second quarter.
And real quick on the trivia question, folks, put your answer on the Junction City School Facebook page. If you think you know who it is, put it on there and win a DSN XX hoodie.
9:49 to play here in the first half. Junction City trails Rivercrest 14-6, but the Colts are knocking on the door once again. Football, middle of the field, 18-yard line. Brown in the offense breaks the huddle. They'll be under center. Deep motion is Winda. He gets the pitch to the right side. Met by Gibson in the hole, and he will be wrapped up and dropped for a loss back out of the red zone at the 21-yard line, and it'll be a 3rd down and 13 coming for the Colts.
And that's what you want to see out of your defensive leader, a senior. Step up, make some big plays. He is the school's, by the way, last week he became the school's all-time leading tackler. I'm not sure how many he's got right now, but he is closing in on 400. And as far as our records show, we never had a Dragon record over 400 tackles in his career.
9 minutes to play first half. Big 3rd down for both teams. Man in motion from left to right. They fake to him. They're going to throw back across the field, and it is caught. And it's got a first down. That's Brown. And so we've seen teams so far in this playoff run have success running that same play where the quarterback throws it over to a man in motion and then he just wheels his way out of the backfield. Junction City actually read it pretty good, but Brown was able to get behind the coverage. And that's a big gain, puts the Colts inside the 3. They're going to mark them down at the 1 here on the near hash.
The ball squarely, on the 1-yard line. And Jacob, somebody did their homework on film study. There's no doubt about it.
So Junction City on their heels, under 8.5 to play. They trail by 8. Rivercrest looking to add to it. Try to keep it in tight. And I believe he's going to be short of the goal line.
They ran an unbalanced line there. I think they was trying to make Junction think they was going to swing something in there, and the quarterback just took it off, took snap and come right off center with it.
Junction City making some changes. Blake Wilson, Cody Atkins checking into the ball game. They'll be over both the guards. Rivercrest set heavy to the right again. Quarterback keeper, and he is up over the center. And he's in the end zone, but flags are on the play. And so that helps Junction City out. It gives them some breathing room for that defense to operate. Still on their heels here with 7:50 to play in the first half. They'll make some more changes along the defensive side of the football. Penalty pushes the ball just outside of the 5-yard line. Be 2nd down and goal for the Colts. They'll operate on the near hash. And again, they'll come out in an unbalanced set. 5 linemen to the right. They'll give to Franks. He powers over near the goal line, and they're going to say the football got in. Touchdown, Rivercrest. 7:32 to play in the first half, and Jamaica Franks barrels over the right side. He goes behind that unbalanced line. 5 blockers out in front of him. and he finds pay dirt, and it is a 20-6 lead for the Colts here with 7:32 to play in the first half.
And he definitely got in. And all that matters is the football, but he put it over the line, and the Dragons now find themselves in a 15-point hole with 7:32 to play.
Yeah, Junction City was hit in the mouth here early, and definitely not playing Dragon football. Again, it goes back to when you look at it, you see two teams that really haven't had any experience on this stage. They've made some playoff runs here in the past couple of years, but none of them ever played in War Memorial Stadium, and you're hoping those nerves go away quickly so you can start playing football, because in the end, it's just another football game.
That's right, and it's so true, Jacob. I know people say, well, no, wait a minute, this is the finals. You know, it is. It's just another game, and you got to play your game. And one of the things that we talked about was your weaknesses being found out. When you hit the playoffs, if you're a playoff caliber team, you get in the playoffs, your weaknesses, whatever you had during the season that caused you problems, and maybe you got away from it, you was playing an inferior opponent, or you caught some breaks or whatever, if they're not corrected or minimized, they can come back to haunt you. Turnovers, penalties, hurting the Dragons, and right now that's the very reason they're down 15 with 7:32 to go in this second quarter.
The biggest deficit for a Junction City football team in the state finals. It's 15 with 7:32 to play here in the first half. Kick is fielded by Frazier at the 10. Bounces up the middle, still on his feet, across the 30. Breaks off of 2 tackles. He tries to get to the Dragon sideline. Runs over a man as he crosses midfield, and that's going to be excellent field position for Junction City. So a 41-yard return by Chavassier Frazier puts the Junction City offense in Colt territory at the Rivercrest 49-yard line.
And you need to make something happen here. Again, great field position for Junction City after a great return. Capitalize on it.
Snap back, Junction City, a little trickeration. It's not really fooling Rivercrest. Davis just trying to use his speed, and he will lose 4 yards. So Davis had nowhere to go, trying to use his speed to get out and about, but he couldn't. And he's dropped for a loss. That'll put the football back inside Dragon territory at the Junction City 47 on the 4-yard loss.
The Colts are coming up on that line aggressively. I mean, you watch them here. They are attacking immediately as soon as the ball snaps, and it's going to make them susceptible to some intermediate passes, your 10 to 18-yard range.
Going to be a quick flip out to Taylor. Stops, powers forward, and he'll be shy of the original line of scrimmage, just shy of the midfield stripe. So a 3rd down and long for Junction City as we're under 7 minutes to play here in the first half.
And right now the Dragons, you're facing a 3rd and long. You need another big play from one of your playmakers here, Davis, Taylor, even Frazier. Something good to happen here.
They empty out the backfield. They'll motion Taylor back in behind Frazier, who's in the pistol. They'll fake to him, spins around. Davis catches it and read like a book, nowhere to go. Was able to hold on to it, but nowhere going after that. Tell you what, Chipman, he's been all over the place tonight. Junction City been unable to do anything in the air.
And, Jacob, it sounds like a broken record. They are coming up immediately on that line. They're not hesitating. And they are keying on the big, we could call them, they're keying on the triplets, there's no doubt about it.
4th down and 12. Frazier appeared to be in the shotgun, and Taylor is going to get a false start penalty. That'll bring up 4th down and 17 with 6:02 to play here in the first half. I tell you what, if you're Junction City, you're hoping these next 6 minutes go by quickly. You can get into the halftime and begin to regroup. High snap, Frazier punts it away. Pretty good punt. Wenda fields it, drops it. Ball still on the ground. He'll be wrapped up by Taylor and dropped at the 20-yard line. So good special teams coverage, and that'll be the worst spot they've had the football at Rivercrest tonight. And they'll have it at the 20-yard line, moving right to left here with 5:54 to play in the second quarter.
And right here, you want to see the defense come in and do a 3-and-out. Let's get the ball back. Because Junction City right now is just trying to – the best thing to do is get to halftime, regroup, whatever adjustments you think you need to make or not make, do it, and come back out in this second half ready to play.
Rivercrest to keep it in tight. Deep motion out of the wing tee, the pitch man. That goes to, I believe that's Robinson. That's the first time we've seen from him tonight. We were wondering, he was a game-time decision. Well, the decision's been made, and he's on the field, and that's a big rush for the Colts. Puts the football across the 35 at the Rivercrest 38-yard line.
And that's what you didn't want to see on first down. Rivercrest, there's no doubt about it, they are totally prepared, and they're settling down too.
Wing T, they give to Wenda. He stops, reverses field, and he is wrapped up. Nice open field tackle right there by Cavante Haynes as Wenda gets across the 40-yard line, just shy of the 41. That'll bring up a second down. We'll call it 7 here with 5:15 to play in the first half.
And what looked like was fixed to be a big gain, or maybe a 15, 20-yard or more, a great play by Haynes to keep it just to a 3-yard gain.
Yeah, if Haynes doesn't wrap him up, I think it's going to be a lot more than 15 or 20. He may have 6 on that one.
Yes, sir.
Under 5 minutes to play. Second down and 7. Near hash, ball just shy of the 41-yard line. They give to Robinson. And he's met by several Dragons. Javassier Cook, Brock McGugan, Jakyron Cook in on the stop. And so that's just what Junction City needed to put the Colts in a third down. And they had Rivercrest in a third down on their last scoring drive, but it was a little bit of a trickeration with the quarterback out of the backfield that set up the touchdown run just a couple plays later.
You read my mind. I was going to use your favorite word there, trickeration, because look, watch this third down. Watch for a reverse something. They've caught us off guard, or the little pass, I call it flare pass.
Hard count. Brown makes some changes at the offensive line, and
unless he got a timeout call.
He got a timeout call.
Okay.
Here with 4:07 to play in the first half. Timeout on the field, the second for the Colts this half. They lead Junction City 21-6. You're watching Dragon football exclusively on the Dragon Sports Network.
Four minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the first half. Rivercrest 21, Junction City 6. It has been a rough first half for the Dragons, to say the least, but hopefully get some things settled here, get out of this third down and 8 situation, force Rivercrest to punt, and maybe get some more points on the board before half. Rivercrest seems to have settled down. Jacob, we talked about that. Getting over the nerves and stuff that makes the offense uneven or your defense not play well, whatever you want to say. Junction City appears not to have got out of that yet, but hopefully kind of settle down here, especially for the end of the first half, and start playing some Dragon football.
Yeah, no intimidation from the Colts, the state's #1 team. They've out here showing that they do belong. They lead Junction City 21-6. Third down, deep motion. Robinson gets it. Going to be a little trickeration. And throws off his back foot. Pass is incomplete. And so good job on the back end covering guys up. And if you've noticed for Rivercrest, they were running out of some pistol shotgun formations those first couple of drives. They got that 15-point lead. And they slowed it down, getting the wing tee, try to just eat some clock here. And so that's why that makes those third downs even a lot bigger. When you find yourself down 15 points.
Because look for them, and especially if they can get one more score, they're going to really slow that offense down and start working on clock.
4 minutes. Nice snap, first punt of the evening by the Colts. And it will bounce at the 29, take a Junction City bounce. It's still rolling, moves up across the 40. And so the Dragons, a big break on the bounce, and they'll have it at the 41-yard line. That ball hit it about the 28, and 13 yards later, it helps Junction City out, and the Dragons have it at the 41, moving left to right.
And that was one of our best offensive plays of the first half right there. I'll take that any day of the week right now. Big opportunity here, Jacob. 3:52 remaining. The Dragons have all 3 timeouts left. Not that really matters to this offense. If they can get going here and get a score in, it would sure look a lot better going into halftime.
The Colts do get the ball after the intermission. Taylor nowhere to go. He's met by several Colts in the backfield.
And go back to film study. Watch, and when you see the game tomorrow, or if you're watching it now, notice the Colt players, they're trying to strip that ball every play.
And they faked it. Taylor fakes me out. Frazier still carries it. He'll pick up about 7 yards up to the 45-yard line.
We have talked about that, or y'all have talked about it all season, talked about it in the playoffs, the way you carry the ball, the way you handle the ball. They are going after that ball every play. Junction City's definitely got to have some better ball handling, or they're going to have another turnover.
Twins to the right. Frazier takes the snap. Quick throw out over the reach of Davis, in and out of his hands. Pass was a little too high for Jalen to come down with it. And that brings up a quick 4th down for Junction City. They got to be careful here. I mean, if you don't get it, that gives Rivercrest 3 minutes to work with. But like they've done all season, you stick to what's worked. So they're going to go for it here on 4th down. Frazier to work out of the pistol. Ford the up back along the left side. Twins to the right. They're going to need 6 for the first down.
It's either going to be a pooch kick or they're definitely going. I think they're trying. They're going to do something.
I think they're doing some hard counts. And now, Coach Jones wanted a timeout. Kind of got a little lively with the line judge down there on the Dragon sideline. I believe he might have been calling timeout.
I believe you're right.
But he wasn't making the timeout motion. The official wasn't giving it to him. So Junction City calls a timeout. As much as we'd like to say we think they're going to punt, you never know. You don't. They could come back out and run an offensive play here with 3:01 to play in the second quarter. The Dragons, 15-point deficit here in what has amounted to say the least, an ugly first half.
Ugly is putting it mildly. Let me throw a big word at you here. You threw one on me earlier today. Conventional wisdom says that you go ahead and punt here, play your field position. Actually, I know it's 2 words, but wisdom, I didn't count it. Punt and play your field position. But Coach Jones, as Darryl Roll, the old Texas coach, always said, you dance with who brung you. He's rolled the dice on 4th down a bunch this year. He doesn't hesitate to go for 2 all the time. You know, he's probably going to stay with what brought him, what got him here.
And the Dragons, they appear to be going for it. 4th down and 6, 3:01 to play in the first half. Frazier takes the snap, jumps and throws. He's got a man. That's Fisher. He was hit. There's no flag on the play. And
there it is.
The official finally he was looking at the back judge as if he was expecting him to throw the hanky. He finally is able to get it out of his pocket, and the flag on the play. And Fisher was trying to go back to the football. Looked like his right side was kind of brought down by the defenders. That should be a first down for Junction City if it's anything else.
Well, let's be sure, because it took the official a while to throw the flag, and now we got a deep discussion going on.
That's never good.
And that's never good.
So they're going to have to bring the football. So no pass interference, but they will get a defensive holding. And so Junction City catches a break. 10 yards on the penalty. That'll put them inside Rivercrest territory at the 45 of the Colts. They'll operate from the far hash with 2:55 to play here in the first half.
I always thought it was a little PI there, but I'll take whatever right here to give the Dragons a first down.
They empty the backfield and whistles again. Junction City apparently going too quickly for some of their offensive players. And that's going to be a false start. So, as we've seen so far tonight.
Jake, I'm just curious, do you have updated stats right there on your screen?
Yes, I do. Junction City
total
just
offense
with 76 yards of total offense, and they've had 60 yards in penalties.
Good night, Marie.
Rivercrest just with 3 penalties totaling 29 yards, including that last one, but they just got 5 back on it. Bought the 49-yard line of the Colt. Colts. And Taylor, nowhere to go. He's wrapped up in the backfield. No push from the front 5. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down for Junction City. They're behind the chains. Excuse me, 2nd down after the back-to-back penalties. 21-6 is our score. Under 2.5 to play first half. Frazier going to keep. And he'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, a pickup of 7. So make 3rd down a little more manageable here for Junction City.
And you really, really need a first down here. Of course, you really, really need points out of this. But more than anything, you at least want to hold on to the ball and get into halftime no worse than 15 down.
Junction City, 44 yards from pay dirt, just 2 minutes to work with. Deep motion out of the backfields. Taylor Frazier keeps it. Ball's on the ground, and I believe that's going to be recovered by Rivercrest. Ball is on the ground, and Frazier fumbles for the 2nd time tonight. And the Colts have it with 1:53 and a 15-point advantage.
Now you are definitely just trying to survive to get to halftime. You don't want to sound like it's the end of the world, anything like that. It's just that the way this, 76 yards total offense, you got almost that much in penalties. And then no telling how many turnovers this is now. To be down only 15, you're still in real good shape considering all that. But right now, this is a huge defensive stand for the Dragons. You need to see those seniors, especially Gibson, Magoogan, step up.
Winder, the recipient of the handoff in the speed motion. And flag on the play as he's wrapped up and dropped. And another flag comes in from the back judge. And I tell you what, I've noticed this basically from the opening kickoff. It's chippy down there. I don't think either of these bunches like each other. Just the 2nd meeting all time between the 2 programs. But I think several of those players out there are familiar with how things went last year at the Cotton Patch. And I believe some of the bad blood's carried over into tonight's state championship game.
And I believe you hit it on the nail head because it started at start from the first play. And you remember me mentioning earlier, you got to settle down, get away from the trash talking play. And that's what I was afraid of.
So the penalties are going to offset. Face mask on Junction City, personal foul on the Colts. I'm sure it was some retaliation for the face mask. So with 1:45, the clock starts here in the 2nd quarter. Junction City trails Rivercrest 21-6. Dragons champions of the 6-3A. The Colts champions of the 3-3A. Both headed in opposite directions in conferences next season. As the fake goes to Winda, Brown still on his feet, and he's wrapped up and finally tossed out of bounds. And that's another big gain on the ground for the Colts.
And they kind of ran it away from the flow, Jacob. Like you said, a huge game for them. They're catching the Dragons kind of like with that backside pass. They catch them one way, come the other, and it's resulted in big plays for the Colts. And right now, once again, Junction City on their heels.
26 yards on the tote from Brown. And that puts the football at the 23-yard line of Junction City. 1st and 10 for the Colts, far hash. Trips formation. They run a man in motion to that side as well. Brown hit. And he will be dropped as he reaches the 20-yard line. So a gain of 4. Bring up 2nd down and 6 as we have a minute remaining in the first half. Tell you what, the Colts just with 1 timeout to work with. So if you're Junction City, got to be smart defensively, knowing that they only have 1 timeout. Try to keep everything in front of you here. Wind of the man in motion, speed sweep, they fake to him. They give back to Franks. He's met at the 2nd level, and he bullies himself forward inside the 15 down to the 13.
Very close to a first down. I believe
that's going to be a first down. So the clock will stop momentarily to reset the chains with 40 seconds to play here in the first half. 21-6 is our score. Dragons down by 15. They fake to Franks. Brown keeps it. Junction City, good job there. Samaje Livingston, Javassier Cook on the tackle. Be a minimal gain, maybe 2 yards. Bring up a 2nd down and 8 for the Colts from the 12. They can get to the 3 for a first down, and Rivercrest burns their final timeout here in the first half with 19 seconds remaining.
I don't believe the coach was happy with that call. He was chewing on the quarterback pretty hard. I was kind of surprised at the call. It was like they were running to set up the field goal instead of, you're going for the kill here, so to speak. Get another touchdown. You get the ball to start the second half, so you would definitely have Junction City in a spot you wouldn't wish on a leopard. I just didn't understand the call. That's what kind of threw me, is why are you trying to run back into the middle? And he come off that sideline animated about it too. If you can make a stop here, keep it in the middle of the, what I'm saying, keep it in the middle of the field or whatever, I don't think they might be able to get another play out. They may be able to. They definitely wouldn't be able to unless they hurried up and spiked it to try a field goal. Because we talked about in the pregame, they have a very good kicking game. So, a field goal here would put you up 3 scores.
So they reset the game clock back to 22 seconds, added 3 seconds to it.
Now, they're spreading the field now, Jacob. All right, here's the snap. Over the middle, touchdown for the Colts. I mean, just like that, a good play by Rivercrest. Give them credit. They ran the inside guy, kind of run a little, I guess you say, fade route, and then kind of hooked it a little bit. And now Junction City definitely in a big hole with 19 seconds remaining. It is 27-6, pending the extra point. And snap ball's down, kick is up, and it is true. No, they're saying no good. So a little bit of good news there for the Dragons. The extra point is no good, but still, Junction City finds themselves in the largest deficit they've had all year, 27-6. They're down 3 touchdowns with 19 seconds remaining to the half. And Jacob, Coach Stephen Jones and his staff has got to come up with something at halftime.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure something out. Junction City hasn't done themselves any favor. Hats off to Rivercrest. They came in, they've executed their plan offensively. A little misdirection here and there, a little trickeration with some plays that have worked out in their advantage, but they've been able to keep true to what they do, and they've been able to withstand what Junction City does, going for it on fourth downs and the onside kicks, and they've been able to take advantage of Junction City's put the football on the ground 3 times. They've lost it twice. They've got 8 penalties totaling 60 yards. So, Coach Meeks has said it often, and you don't want to take away anything from what Rivercrest has done here in the first half, but Junction City's done their fair share of beating themselves so far through the first 2 quarters.
And also, let's give the coach credit on this. Also, they settled down and got into their game. And the way they're playing has also kept Junction City from getting into their game. But you're right, the Dragons doing themselves no favors here.
Onside kick, takes a high bounce, fielded, and that ball's on the ground. I believe the Colts are going to come away with it with 18 seconds to play. They have no timeouts to work with, but they'll have an opportunity to try to put some more points on the board before the intermission. To Junction City, for lack of a better word, they were naked on the far side of the field, just 2 guys, high bounce over one, and then the Haynes came in and tried to field it on the jump. It went in and out of his hands, and the Colts come away with it. And they'll have it 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line with just 18 seconds to play here in the first half, and if they work it right, they should have enough time for about 2 plays.
I agree, but 2, maybe get a 3rd play out of it. Let's see what they try to do here. I would suspect they won't hesitate and try to go for the kill immediately.
And they're going to do some trickeration here. I tell you what, the center right here is going to be eligible.
And Junction City's defense is not set at all. Coach Smith very aggravated about something.
And he wants a timeout, so Coach Smith signals Coach Jones to call a timeout, and they'll talk some things over. Tell you what, it's basically a gate look for them. They split everybody out, including linemen, out wide. And the center, the guy snapping the football, is not a guy that you're going to see snapping a football throughout the duration of this game. That's an athlete out there snapping the football. He's an eligible receiver, snaps the football, plays around a little bit, little block, and then boom, he moves out, 5-yard out route, and he's got 6. So very, very well played timeout right there. And if you're Junction City, you've got to have a guy on the snapper if they come back out in that again.
You talk about that snapper, that's the guy that catches Granny taking a dip behind the barn there in the afternoon. You got to watch for those plays, and the reason you see them line up in something like that, they have caught us already on 2 other plays where they ran reverses, little halfback pass, whatever you want to call it, and it hurt us. I think one went for a score, the other one was a big gainer. So, I can't say it enough. Rivercrest did their homework studying film. There's no doubt about it, and they are giving us everything they can come up with.
14 seconds to play, first half action, 27-6, big deficit for the Dragons. Man in motion, they fake to him, give to Franks. He's met by Javassier Cook as Frank spins around about and inside the 40 down to the 37-yard line. 4, 3, 2, 1, and that'll do it. 2 quarters in the books here in Little Rock. Timeout on the field. We'll take a break for the halftime intermission. Rivercrest leads the Dragons 27-6. And I tell you what, we'll go ahead and jump into a little halftime show here. For Junction City, it's been ugly. I mean, there's been nothing. There's been nothing. I'd like to say you can pull some positive. There's a positive somewhere. I think the only positive would be that it's a 21-point deficit and not a 28-point deficit.
That would be the only positive I could come up with. I mean, just short of there's nothing else you can say. That's the only good thing. It could be worse than what it is. And that's no knock on the Dragons. It's just they just have not got into their game. Turnovers have hurt them. And the penalties, I mean, my gosh, is one point there you're like, every time the flag got thrown, now what? And it's not like, well, they're getting calls that are not, good or whatever. It's good calls. I mean, I hate to say it. And also, we talked about, both teams the term we used was herky-jerky there in the start. Rivercrest settled down, got their game going, kept us off balance. And, of course, we wasn't helping ourselves none because we were not getting our game going. And now this is where you find – your situation, you find yourself in this situation, 27-6. A Super Bowl coach once said the hardest thing to do in coaching is walk into a locker room at halftime of the Super Bowl and everything you've done all year long is not working. What do? Junction City, Coach Stephen Jones, right now they're in that kind of situation. What do you do? And we'll find out here in about 19 minutes and 4 seconds.
That's right. The season comes down to these final 2 quarters, not necessarily because it's do or die, because these are the final 2 quarters of the season. I mean, you're playing for the Class 3A state crown. And, for Junction City, they're going to have to figure something out in the halftime intermission, or this could probably get even uglier than it's been in the first 2 quarters.
Absolutely, and I'll say this, then I'm going to step out a minute and get a shot of water because my throat's starting to work, and then I'll come back and give you a quick break. We're going to bring Mr. Sean Enos in here, and Sean, I'm going to turn it over to you while you talk with Jacob. You saw what we saw. You heard what we said. What are your thoughts?
Well, there's not a whole lot you can add to that discussion that you guys just had. Wayne quoted an NFL coach. One of the things that made me think of was a quote from Mike Tyson, the boxer, one time, who said everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So Jacob and Wayne just talked about it. I mean, we took a pretty good shot from them so far. Some of it self-inflicted, but Rivercrest came to play as well. So, I don't know, Jacob. You got 2 quarters to straighten it out.
You're right about that. And to use another boxing term, Junction City, hats off to Rivercrest. I mean, they lead at 27-6 through the first 2 quarters, and they've basically put Junction City on the mat. To use another boxing term, and thank you. And if you're the Dragons, you're going to have to figure something out during the intermission. I tell you what, we'll go over some numbers here for both teams. Rivercrest 10 first downs to just 7 for the Dragons. Junction City's carried it 24 times for 59 yards. The Colts have carried it 22 times for 86 yards. Dragons have completed 5 of 10 passing for 16 yards, and they've also, I believe they've thrown an interception. And then the Colts are 4 of 6 for 88 yards, including that big 39-yard pass in their first drive, and not to mention their last touchdown that made it a 21-point advantage. Leading rusher for the Dragons with 11 carries and 45 yards and the lone touchdown, Hashima Taylor. And then on the Rivercrest side, leading rusher, the quarterback Brown, he's got 9 carries for 54 yards. And Wenda, the leading receiver, 2 catches, 57 yards. He's got a pair of touchdowns. So for Junction City, I don't necessarily think it's about keying in on 1 or 2 players. It's just a matter of coming out, slowing yourself down, realizing where you're at, and little by little trying to claw your way back into it. Get a stop on 3rd down, put together a good offensive drive, and if you can do that a couple of times, you'll find yourself back in the ball game. But yet it's going to be very difficult for the Dragons to do so, with Rivercrest definitely having all the momentum here at the halftime.
Yeah, we haven't had a rhythm at all. I mean, no big plays really to speak of. It seems like from a football side of things, it looks like they're crashing our edges really hard. Their defensive line's getting back there quickly. Some of the stuff that we like to run out on the perimeter, whether it's a running play or even when we roll out for a pass, there's a guy there always waiting on us. So it's like Wayne said earlier, you don't reinvent yourself at the halftime. You do what you do, but you do it better. And I think we'll all agree that we can go up from where we've been for a half. There's no doubt about that. Come back out here and do what we do and do it better.
You talk about that rhythm. That's been one of the key things offensively for Junction City throughout the entire season, is getting in a rhythm. Now, I was talking to some guys during the pregame on the field, and we were talking about how the Dragons need to cut down on the penalties. They've got 8 for 60 yards, but what I was getting at was it's not necessarily the lost yardage on the penalties that hurts Junction City. When you've got an explosive offense like the Dragons, you can cover 15, 20, 25 yards in a play, no doubt about it. It's the fact that those penalties slow you down. You get out of a rhythm. They have to reset the football, Absolutely. And that's what really kills Junction City, and so far we've seen it here tonight.
And we're playing behind the sticks a lot tonight. I mean, you can't do your normal thing when you're 3rd and long. You just can't. We're going to give Jacob a break here, and Wayne's rejoining us.
Yeah, I had to hopefully get a little bit of water there on the old throat, but pick up on what Jacob and you were talking about when we walked in. It just seems like let's just talk about the offense here. The offense does not seem to be able to get into a rhythm. When one of your best plays was a Rivercrest punt bouncing back 13 yards, it doesn't say a lot about the first half for you. But as negative as all this sounds, yeah, they're down 3 scores, but this offense has shown that it can put points on the board quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, is there's no rhythm so far between the penalties, being behind the sticks, which basically takes you a little bit out of your normal play calling perhaps. We just don't have a rhythm at all. There's no, big plays can give you a rhythm, and grinding out a long drive can give you a rhythm, and we just don't have any of that happening right now. The good news is it's only 21 points, and we can score in a hurry if we get rid of all the penalties and, do what we know how to do. And you were the one who said you don't reinvent yourself at the half. I agree. You go out there and do what you do.
That's it. It's like I was talking about, I believe it was Parcells that said, I'm not sure, but it was a Super Bowl coach talking about you walk in at a halftime and everything you tried has not worked.
Right.
It's what's got you there. What do you do?
Right.
That's when you find out, hey, how good a coach am I? Can I come up with something to get this team rolling?
Well, I would venture to say this has been our worst half on turnovers, our worst half on yardage, our worst half on penalties all season, all in one half.
I would agree. The games, I've watched most of them, like I said, been gone, but I watched most of them on the broadcast, and by far probably their worst half of ball. You seen what Rivercrest is doing, what we talked about. To me, it looks like they're really coming up on that line. They're very aggressive, and they're not hesitating to go after, I call them the big 3, the triplets,
right.
Frazier, Taylor, Davis. As a quarterback yourself and back in the day, what would you do in the second half maybe to combat that? Do you try to go more to a passing game? Dragons are not afraid to throw the ball. They're capable of doing it, no doubt. Or do you stick with the ground attack? Or is there a mixture in there?
Well, when you stepped out, Jacob and I talked about how, to me, they're crashing the edges hard. Every time we run our little mesh play out to the edge, and I told Jacob, whether you are rolling out to throw the ball or whether you're running to the edge, when you get out there and there's a guy waiting on you, it complicates everything, obviously. And they are crashing our ends. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's the defensive line doing it. They're bringing guys up from somewhere. I looked a minute ago, there was a linebacker who just stepped right out there in the path of one of our sweeps. They're bringing anybody they can to the edge to disrupt what we normally do. So The thing that they're down there talking about in the locker room right now is probably something to the effect of, hey, let's work them over in the middle a little bit and see what happens, and then maybe throw the ball, some of our play action type stuff.